Okay, before we get started, please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Alright, so let's have a look at what's happened last week and let's see what's happening this week on the fundamental side. From the US side last week we had essentially retail sales numbers came in stronger than they were expected for a while. So the US recovery pretty much on that last day against most major currencies. However, um, most the sentiment in the market is one that is it enough to cause an interest rate cycle continuation that most of us were expecting maybe perhaps 3 months ago. So moving into this week, the major focus, even though we have a lot of building permits and sort of construction figures that are due out from the US, the major focus for the US for this week is probably the FOMC meetings, and in particular just to see what the tone is, what they're thinking, and if they're giving us any clues whether we will in fact continue in an interest rate cycle increase, or perhaps has it finished. Now, most analysts are of the opinion that it's there's very small chance that it will happen in June. Okay, um, I'm one of those people that has that view on it. But the last recent FOMC sort of press release was a little bit more on the positive side compared to perhaps 3 weeks ago. However, it's possibly not enough to, I guess, justify a rate increase. So that's the major talking point. Of course, for those of you who are not aware, well, I am referring to the FOMC meetings that will happen around about 4 o'clock in the morning on Thursday for me in my local Sydney time. So that's the major. It's not a data where we're expecting a number type announcement, but it's more based on the sentiment and what is said throughout those meetings. Now, if we have a little bit of a closer look to our home front in Australia, Aussie dollar's been losing ground at a quite significant pace just off recent time. It's largely due to the drop in iron ore. It's had about a 23% drop just in a very quick period of time, and it's affecting our Aussie dollar. Now, so much so that at the last RBA meeting, the RBA decided to cut interest rates to fight that inflation. Now, what's going to be particularly interesting is tomorrow when we get our monetary policy meetings, the minutes from that, and this will give us a strong indicator as to whether the Australian dollar will continue in an easing cycle. In other words, continue to cut interest rates. Now, the commodity iron ore is one of the major commodities that Australia exports out, so a massive reduction in price and a hit in iron ore is affecting our Australian dollar. So much so that a lot of analysts are sort of saying that we could cut rates by a further 75 basis points. Now, not so sure about that, but another 25 basis points definitely looks on the cards. So we're very interested to see what he said, and that's tomorrow 11:30. So because of the current vulnerability of the Aussie dollar, usually the meetings minutes are not as volatile as FOMC meetings for the US, but tomorrow it could prove to be a slightly different case. All right, so that's two of the major highlights, and then on number driven, other important numbers to come out. We got GBP, we got CPI figures. Over here we got the unemployment change and the average earnings index. So GBP has got a lot of data this week, as well as retail sales there as well. Most analysts believe that the data will more than likely support what the Bank of England's already been saying, that the economy is in a weakened state. Okay. Any other highlights? We got New Zealand PPI input and GDP index, and from the Aussie front we got our unemployment rates as well. So that's pretty much a summary of what's happening this week or in the way of fundamental news releases. Please take note of these times. These times are in my local time, which is Australian Eastern Standard, in other words, Sydney time. Okay, let's bring up our charts. Let's have a look at what's been happening and let's see what we can see for this week. Now, I was just looking at my charts this morning, and to be honest, it's like there's really not much happening. So let's see what we can find, the opportunities that may arrive, and let's see if we can try and find something for us. Okay, Aussie dollar. First off the bat, as you can see, looks like we are now definitely in a downtrend. Okay, our two moving averages have crossed over, so we're definitely facing into this direction. So what we're kind of looking for, if we're going to try and attempt a bit of trend trading here, is we need to find that nice pullback, look for that really nice price action entry, and see if we can attempt to take that trade. Now, we did get a little bit of a pullback here. It's only a three, it's not really a three candle entry. So did anybody take this trade, guys? Can I just get a show of hands? Is anybody short because of those three candles there? It's not quite a shooting star type scenario. So I did see it. I stayed away from it. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a better pullback, possibly into around about there, and then what I'd be looking for an engulfing candle or an inside candle formation to allow me to trade in a downward direction. In terms of buying the Aussie dollar, I have zero interest in buying the Aussie dollar. The fundamentals are against it. The commodity is supporting a falling Aussie dollar, and with the Reserve Bank with an appetite to try and control inflation, of cutting interest rates, it only really from a fundamental point of view looks in one direction. So I have no interest in buying, and in fact I'm just looking for opportunities to sell into the Aussie dollar. Okay, any questions on the Aussie dollar? No? We're all good? Alright, so nice and simple this week. There's really nothing there. So we're just going to leave this one alone and we'll wait for that pullback. Let's move on. Euro USD. Okay, Euro USD. We are uptrend or downtrend, guys? Can you give me a hand? Uptrend or downtrend? Okay, it looks like we have a majority that believe we are in an uptrend, and I'll have to support that even though we've crossed through the moving averages where they still haven't come across. We could get an opportunity to buy Euro USD tomorrow. So on the proviso that this candle, if this candle finishes anywhere like that, for example, as long as it doesn't go beyond or below, tomorrow would give us a fractal over here, and we would have an opportunity for an inside candle to purchase, place a pending buy for tomorrow. So as it stands right now, Euro USD, it's looking really good for a buy setup. Now notice that the last fractal candle, which is this one over here, we never really got the setup that we were looking for, so price action did not support a buy at that level. Hopefully price action will show itself over here and give us the opportunity to buy into this trade. Okay, so right now we will wait for the current candle to complete. Hopefully tomorrow it'll be a little green candle or a candle that looks like that, as I've said, and then we'll be able to place our pending buy on the break. Alright, so keep an eye on this one. If I see it, I will post it out on Twitter. I can see a lot of new faces in the class today. For those who don't know, just add me in. It's Chat FX. This is an A. It's hard to write with this. Chat FX. so that if I do see it, I'll post it so that you will see that I've taken the trade. Okay, all right, so that's the Euro USD. Let me just have one quick little look on a 4-hour chart. No, we'll stick with that, and let's see if it comes up. Questions being asked by DH. What time? Are you referring to what time frame I'm looking at my chart, or what time the candle will complete? Can you just please confirm that as I move on to the GBPUSD? The candle starts at 7 a.m. if you live on the eastern side of Australia. So if you're Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane, when we are not in daylight savings, new candle during our winter starts at 7 a.m. If you're located somewhere else, please make an adjustment. That's when that candle will complete. Okay, GBP USD. We're inside a nice channel over here. Okay, I see something in this chart that I don't know if I've talked about before, but I'll mention it right now. This is the beauty of coming to the classes live. As you see things that occur, every chart is a little bit different. Gives me an opportunity to share something from my database of experiences with the market. Okay, we're in a channel. Everybody agrees that this is an upward trending channel. Does anybody strongly disagree? Great. Okay, so it's unanimous. We are in an upward channel. When I trade a channel, okay, I always prefer pattern trading. Okay, now pattern trading involves triangles, breakouts, channels, wedges, and all those types of things. I always favor patterns over straight out trend type trades. So if you have a look at this situation over here, okay, that you get an inside candle in what looks like an uptrend, which would have normally said, yes, you can trade that in the upward direction. And if you took that trade, I would not have any real problems with it, to be honest. The only thing that would have deterred me from that trade is the fact that I'm inside the channel, okay, and that we didn't get closer to the bottom of the channel, okay, because channels like I said, pattern trading I always favor over just standard trend trading. They have a higher probability. Okay, so if we took this trade, we would have gone forward a little bit and basically got stopped out on that trade. Okay, another thing that I'll say is if I'm in a channel that's going upwards, I will never take the trend trade in the opposite direction of the channel. All right, this one here was excused. You would have been excused for taking this trade. I didn't take this trade, or which day was this? Friday, Thursday, Friday. No, I did not take this trade. We did look at it. I believe. Can someone just remind me? Did we look at the channel last week on the GBP USD, or did we just flag out the trade? Okay. Yeah, as I thought. Simon, look, if you took this trade, there's no problems. Like it's still probability wise, it was a correct trade to take. All I wanted to point out from just past experiences that patterns tend to have stronger probabilities than just a straight out trend. Okay, so having said that, what I'm really going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for the buy trade when we get towards the bottom of the channel. Okay, so this is my a trade that I particularly like. All right, and this is one that we can take. The other alternative is the break of the channel, and we'll just wait for price action to confirm either of the trade. So if it's going to be an upward trade, we're going to get some kind of a inside candle like this to trade, or if it's going to be a break-in trade, we're going to get a straight out candle, looks like that, and then we enter the trade in this direction. We don't really care which one happens as long as we're ready to pull the trigger when it does happen. Okay, so GBPUSD, the channel is forming, it's looking really good. Let's see if we can pick up this trade, and when it does show up, be ready to take action. Okay, let's move on. Gold. Okay, gold. We're looking for an entry on gold and it just is not coming. Okay, look, there was the fractal candle. Nothing. It's not really a hanging man. This one doesn't have a long enough sort of type looking candle. Right now it doesn't look like it's going to show itself. Okay, so we just let's be patient. Let's be patient. Let's not force it. Let me have a quick look a bit further zoomed out, see if there's anything really showing that I can see. Just one moment. No, there's nothing there, guys. So this week we've gold. We just have to keep waiting. All right. I just get the feeling that the trade that we were looking for was the pullback, come back. We're looking for price action and entry, and we just have not had the candle setups that we like. All right. Don't be confused with this candle setup here, guys. That's a really nice setup. However, this candle there is not the one with the fractal. Okay, so that means it's not the low point. So we would not take that trade, just in case anybody was thinking about that one. Okay, so there you have it. Let me carry on. Let's have a look at the US yen. Very, very similar to gold. We're looking for the sell entry, and give me one moment, 1 second. We got very, very close. This was almost an entry. However, this candle here was the one that had the higher high, okay, which basically meant we didn't have the inside candle formation correct. So these two here was not a setup, it was not an entry, and consequently the market's just going sideways. Now this one here has got the potential to have the fractal, but this one's broken the low, so this is not going to work out either. So what's going to have to happen here for us to get a correct entry? This candle's going to have to go up like this, and then we're going to have to get another candle there, and then we'll be ready to take that trade. If that does not happen, then we don't have a setup on the US yen on my daily chart. All right, let me have a quick look on a different time frame and let's see if anything's different. We can see some heavy congestion happening in here. The market's really confused at the moment with the yen. Okay, US yen, let's not force it. All right, we want that clean entry. Otherwise, we're going to leave it alone. it could be the turnaround. The US yen's been dropping for quite a while. You can see it's quite a big move to about 1,700 pips, and it's starting to shape like it could be a reversal, and the trend could start to perhaps go in this direction. So unless we get the clean entry that we're looking for, we will not take this trade. Okay, so that's our US yen. We all clear on that? Any questions on it? All good? Thank you. All right, Euro yen. Let's move on. Okay, Euro yen. This is a really good example here. There was a setup of these two candles to go short. However, the little candle, the green one with the fractal, this one here, if you notice, it never broke the bottom. It didn't break this bottom, but in fact broke the top. As soon as it breaks the top, basically the order is cancelled and there is no trade. Alright, so we never got an entry, unfortunately, because it's dropped, but this one just went too high, so we didn't get an entry. What I'm looking for here is, obviously we're in a downtrend, and I'm looking for selling opportunities to get into this trade. Unfortunately, we've just had a drop down and without an entry. So there's a couple of key things that I'm looking for. There's a little bit of I believe that this week Bank of Japan is releasing some views on their monetary policy. It's not a major announcement, but it could dictate the next wave for the Japanese yen. So if we all of a sudden start to get a little bit of strength, more weakening, sorry, should I say, on the yen side, we could break this critical line and we could end up with a candle that looks something like that. If you get a clean breaking bull candle, then we're ready to become buyers. Remember, when the yen weakens, if they go into like a weakening cycle of monetary policy, there's easily 600 to like 1,000 pips in that. So you got to be ready with all your technicals and your fundamentals and understand with the Japanese yen, if it happens, it'll go quick. All right, so this line on my chart becomes very important. You can clearly see that if we look back in time, just say from around about here where I got my crosshairs, you know, the Japanese yen has dropped down nearly 17,000, 1,700 pips, should I say? Okay, which is a significant amount of movement. So if we happen to break this line and we break it well, then we can easily get some kind of a bounce. It started to produce a little bit of a floor there. So if we're going to trade the way that we would normally trade, a converging triangle where the market comes down, hits a floor, bounces, hits floor, the way you normally trade it may do a little bit more of this, and usually it can get back up to that level there. That's the way that you trade this. So please be alert, because this is not just like if we can catch this trade, this is the kind of trade that can make your entire quarter in terms of your trading returns. Okay, so let's really keep an eye on that. Question being asked, can I explain again the high point break, because I went on this trade as a sell. Are we still, Simon, are you referring to the euro yen, or was it? Yeah, okay, all right. That setup there, let's pretend that these candles here don't exist. Okay, so they're not on our chart. At that particular point there, what we would have seen is a fractal on the red candle, and then what we would have had is a pending order to sell at the break of that line. Now, the break never happened, and in fact, it never happened. We broke the top, so as soon as we break the top, we have to cancel out the order. Okay, so the order gets cancelled out. We are still in downtrend, all right, but what I'm trying to say, if we're going to trade a buy, I'm interested when I break this line that I've drawn on my chart. Okay, if I break that line aggressively like this, all of a sudden now I am a buy because I'm trading a break of a converging triangle. Does that explain? Anybody have any other questions on that one? And like I said, even though if I break it, it could be the start of the turnaround of the trend, and I favor patterns over trend. Okay. Great. All right. So that's what we're doing with Euro Yen. Okay. Now, if we break the floor, then this will accelerate downwards as well. So be prepared for that as well. Okay. So remember, the point of these classes and what I'm doing today is I'm not trying to be correct. I'm just trying to identify the trade that shows itself with the highest probability. All right. And those are the ones with the highest probability. All right. Kiwi dollar. Okay, Kiwi dollar. We've got a slight reversal now, so we're facing downward. What do we think about this? Is this a strong enough reversal pattern? What do we think, guys? Who thinks it looks like a sell signal? If you don't know, there's a lot of people in the room, so if you don't know, just type in question mark. Otherwise, just say yes or no. Similar to the Aussie USD, someone says. I'll have a quick look at that. This one looks better than the Aussie USD from memory. Let me have a quick look. Look at this, the Aussie USD. This one has got it's got a lot of tail down the bottom, whereas the Kiwi, it's only got a short tail down the bottom. See, it's only short and it's longer. Okay, let me see your answers. Give me one moment. I'm getting about 70% of you saying yes. A few indecisions and a couple of no's as well. Alright, so let me have a quick look at one other thing. One moment, guys. Okay, alright. I'm going to trade this one. The question is, do we go in live or shall we go in with a pending order? What do we think? Live or pending order? Here are the two scenarios. Scenario one, we go in right now as a sell. Scenario, our stop's going to be around about there somewhere. And scenario 2, we'll place a pending sell somewhere there, and our stop there, so we wait for the market to come up, hit us, and then go down. Now, it may not come up and hit us, and it will just go down. So what do we think? Got 2 pending, 3, 4. We like our pending orders. Okay, let's go pending order. Give me 1 second. Let me just size the trade up. Okay, it's got to be about 70 pip stop. Let's go for a $60 risk. 85 cents a pip. It's Kiwi, it's US, so we'll trade 0.07. Okay, and I want to get in at around about 67.90. I'll try getting around about there. So here we go. My stop's going to be 68.58. My profit I'll just put temporarily at 66. I'll adjust it in 1 second. And I'm happy with that. I'm selling at, yep, here we go. Orders in the market. Okay, so my risk is about 65 pips. So 2 to 1, my target, I'll put it about there. Done. Everybody understand what I just did? So I've got a order there to sell. I'm waiting for the market to come up and hit me. If we get it wrong and it goes up and gets us there, well then we get stopped out. But what we want is for it to go hit and then come down and fall over here to hit our target. And that's a 2 to 1 trade. Of course, when you get to your 1 to 1 position, remember to think, do you want to do something to your trade? Okay, and I've traded at 0.07. When you convert US dollars, it's around about 85 cents a pip. Alright, so, which is approximately around about $60 on the trade. Alright, Kiwi dollar, we're in. Euro Aussie. Okay, Euro Aussie is pushing and pushing forward, but it's not giving us an opportunity to enter. So what if you wanted to trade the Euro Aussie, what we've got to look for is some kind of a pullback. Look for that price action entry and look for it there. It's probably going to occur around about that level there. So which if it does, it's a nice feeling. It'll come right into the moving averages, come back to a previous resistance. Hopefully it acts as support, and we should get a nice price action entry, and then we look for the buy. Okay, so this one's pretty standard, it's pretty straightforward. We just got to wait for it. So at the moment there's nothing there, so we will just leave it alone. Okay, and finally ASX 200. Now we got bidden on this one, we got stopped out. The trade, we traded this combination there. We saw it late, got in with a pending order. We just got trickled in somewhere there, and then it came down. It was going in our direction, and then just turned around and stopped us out. Now, the channel, I had to readjust. Now, this is like sometimes the drawing of the channel is very, very important. So I've readjusted. I'm pretty happy with where the lines are at the moment, and I would say that's 1, 2, 3, 4 solid touches. Okay, we've got another one there. There's another one there, but Do you guys like this channel? Would you agree that this channel looks fairly good? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am not going to shy away from this one. If we come up here again and it gives me another opportunity for it, I will go in again. Okay, I got stopped out last week on this one. Okay, but if it does come up, I will hit it again. All right, so let's see if it gives us an opportunity. All right, it's the only trade that I'm looking for because remember we are in an upward channel, a channel that's supposed to be an arrow there that's pushing upwards. So trading a break in this direction is not a type of trade that you can trade. So if the channel is going upward like this, the three trades allowed are inside the channel, okay, and breaking in the opposite direction of the direction of the channel, which would make it this one here. So those are the three types of trades. This one up here, that one is a no. Okay, just for clarifications. So Aussie 200, we're still inside the channel. It hasn't taken off. So the channel's pretty much locked in now. I don't think I can jiggle around too much more. So this is it. We either get the trade setup that we're looking for, or it doesn't show itself. Okay. Any questions on anything? Anything off topic? Anything that you would like to ask me? Please type it in. I've got a little bit of time, and I'll go back and I'll review what we've done. It's been a quiet week, like there's really nothing really showing so obvious. Aussie dollar, it looks like there's a turnaround. We are in a downtrend now. The fundamentals are supporting it. The commodity market, specifically iron ore, has come off around about 23%. Okay, so that's the major cause for the Aussie fall. So what we're looking for, Aussie dollar, is we're looking for some kind of a pullback. Okay. All right. Questions being asked. Aussie 200 weakening. Okay. What you generally find is sometimes when specifically, it doesn't always happen, but there is a correlation between the currencies and the market. So if the Aussie dollar, okay, what's the major thing that happened in the last 2 weeks on the Aussie dollar? We cut interest rates. So imagine if you are an investor, you got $1 million, and all of a sudden the bank says, well, we're going to give you 0.25% less interest. They're already paying you virtually nothing. So what do you want to do with your money? Do you want to keep it in cash, or do you want to move it into something else? So you look at different options. So then the most natural option is the money goes into, where does it go, guys? Anyone have a guess? Equity markets, commodities, stock markets, absolutely. So therefore, the ASX 200 has been rallying, all right, because there's no incentive for people who are wealthy, or even, it doesn't even necessarily mean people who are wealthy, even fund managers and things like that. There's no incentive to keep that money in cash, so it moves to the equity markets. The equity market, the demand comes in, so the market goes up. Okay, so that's the answer to that question. All right, let me keep going on the Euro USD. We are in an uptrend, looking for, we could get that entry tomorrow. This candle, to me, I get the feeling we're going to get an entry tomorrow. So look out for it. At 7 a.m. you'll be able to place your pending buy. Like, I'm about 70% sure that this candle will not break the bottom. But if I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. Then we just don't do nothing and we just look for it again on the next candle. Okay, so Euro USD, GBP USD, we're in the channel. Let's wait for the market to come down to us at the channel. Okay, let's see if it comes down, and let's see if we can get that trade. Gold is just hovering. It's not really giving us an entry. So let's just leave it alone, and let's keep looking for what we were originally looking for. US yen, we're getting into this tight range. FOMC this week, so the US is got to move, and also Japanese um, minutes. So keep an eye on that. This one should break out of that region, but we're not going to force it. We want the clean entry. Euro yen, the line. This line is critical. If we break it, we could have one of those big long running trades. So let's look out for it. Kiwi dollar, we just placed a pending sell. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we get triggered into this trade. What we do, we 67.91 entry, 68.58 stop, 66.52 target on the trade. Euro Aussie, it's nice and smooth upwards. Let's see if it pulls back and gives us the entry that we're looking for. Finally, ASX 200. We're waiting to see if we get another opportunity at the fringe of the channel. Question, break the bottom of a close, Euro USD. Euro USD. That bottom there, is that the one that you're asking me, Sam? Were you asking about that bottom there, the little one? Okay, if we break the bottom, the little one there, if we break that, basically we won't have the setup tomorrow. Okay, so what we're looking for tomorrow is the following. Just to make it obvious, I'll just zoom in. What we're looking for is, I want this candle to finish up like that as a green candle, which is inside this candle over here. And if I get that, when the next candle starts, I'm going to trade a break of that one in that direction. Okay? That's what we're looking for. Any other questions? We all good? Okay, a lot of new faces today. Good to see you. What I always tell everybody is, if you do have questions that pop up during the week, doesn't matter if they're off topic, just bring them along and type them in. I will address them, and I'll try and fit them in as I can. For those of you who will be on Thursday, I will see you all on Thursday at 3:30. Just look out, ChatFX on Twitter. If I see any trades pop up live, I will post them up as I take them. Other than that, enjoy your trading week, and I'll see you all on Thursday. Bye for now.